Hello there and welcome back. We are looking at basic percent problems and I'm on page 36 of your work text. I will tell you that there are lots of ways to solve percent problems. When I was in school, I had to memorize rules. I know teachers who use the triangle and the circle methods to teach you how to do these, but I use a proportion to teach percent for the number one reason that you don't have to move a decimal. Most percent formulas use a decimal. Mine uses a fraction because that means there's no moving the decimal. You don't have to remember if I need to multiply or divide. It's just, for me, an easier method. Now, if you already know how to do this with your own method, I suggest skipping this section because I don't want you to get confused with trying to do it another way. But if you have never learned percents, this is the easiest way I know to show you. Once you get the hang of it, I think you're going to love it because it's going to work the same way every time. And you can take this skill over to Walmart and you can do any sale, discount, all kinds of things with this skill. So I'm excited to show you this one. It's a good one. The math rule. The first thing, it doesn't matter which method you're going to use. The first thing you need to know is that there are three parts in a percent problem. You have the percent itself, which will have a percent sign. And this is sometimes called the rate. So some teachers and some books call that the rate. The part is usually associated with the word is, and the whole is usually associated with the word of. So if you are going to use this method for solving percents, you need to memorize this. Percent over 100 equals part over whole. And I should have written it that way instead of is over of. I really should have said, even though this is true, here's what I meant to say, part over whole. So go ahead and make a note of that. And to do percent problems, you must correctly identify the parts. That's the key to any method of percents, is knowing the piece that you're looking for. So I'm going to show you some examples, and then we're going to do lots more examples and lots of word problems. And I think by the time we get finished with this, you're going to know this backwards and forwards. But let's start. This one is a pretty basic one. So we'll start off with the easier ones and work up to the harder ones. And notice I'm not saying the easy ones. This is not easy, but it's easier than some we can do and some we will do. So here's the question. What is 30% of 80? And let's go ahead and identify the three parts. This one is the easiest to see because it has the percent sign. Here's an of, and here's an is. So let's set up our proportion, and you already know about proportions, so I'm not going to spend time explaining what all that means. Remember, I have to memorize this part. Percent over 100, part over whole. Okay. So I know the 30% is the percent, right? That's this part. So I'm going to take out this, and in its place, I'm going to put my 30. Because remember, 30%, what is that as a fraction? Every other method I know uses a decimal. So you would have to change this to a decimal, 0.3, and then you have to remember whether you multiply or divide. But this method eliminates all that. You just put your percent over your 100. Okay, I told you that ofs are wholes. So that of 80 is the whole. So I'm going to take out this and bring my 80 down here. And we can solve this, guys, because you know how to do this now. You draw the peanut and you multiply. Always multiply peanuts, no matter where you find them. So 30 times 80. And then you divide by the number that was not in the peanut, which is the 100 in this case. And you have your answer, guys. You are done. The part is 24. That's all you have to do. That problem is solved. Now, in just a minute, when we do word problems, we'll actually make stories that make sense. But for now, I just want you to learn how to solve the basic problem, and then we'll look at the harder stuff. Okay, number 2. 20 is 40% of what number? So the first thing we have to do is identify our parts. There's the percent. Here is the of. We don't know the of, but we do know the part. So when you set up this proportion, it will work the same way every time. 40, that's the fraction form of 40%. And 20 is, that's a part. We don't know the whole. We don't know the of. So here comes the 100 times 20. Peanuts can go any direction, but you multiply them. Always. And then you divide by the third number. And then you have your answer. And you don't have to go any further. The whole is 50. No moving decimals, no dropping percent signs, no wondering, now is this multiply or divide and which number goes on top. This is going to work the same way every time. Okay, here's number 3. 344 is what percent? So I don't see a percent sign this time. Of 400. So there are the basic pieces, and we just have to put them together in a puzzle. Hundreds built in. It's a constant, because that's what percent is based on. Remember, let me show you something here. Remember these blocks that I used to show you percent? They have 100 little boxes. That's why this 100 is built in. It's all based on those 100 boxes. So we don't know the percent, but we do know the part. And we do know the whole this time. And as long as I have 3 of those, I can find the 4th one. So we're going to say 344 times 100. And I'm going to come on down here because I don't have enough room. And remember, this is not a proper math sentence. I'm just showing you keystrokes here. So 34400 divided by 400 is 86. And that's a percent we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that percent sign on there. That's the piece that goes right there. Okay, so we're just setting up and solving a proportion. And this will work, guys. It works every time. So if you can do the basic ones, you can do the harder ones. It's going to not change. The rules won't change when you get to those more difficult ones. Okay, to do a word problem, you still have to identify the parts. So let's take a look at this one, and then I'll let you do assignment 6. At dinner, our bill was $42.62. We want to leave a 20% tip for the server. How much is the tip? Well, this one I can spot that percentage right off the bat. So I know that it's 20%. So then I have to focus on the $42.62. Was that all the food that I ate or part of it? It was all. Our bill, after we finished eating, the whole bill was $42.62. So we're going to put that in for the whole bill. And then you and I are about to find the tip. This is the whole bill. The part we're looking for is the tip. And then, of course, our percent is the rate. So we set up the proportion. You know the 100 is built in, and you know that 20 goes over it. You know that $42.62 is the whole bill. So you're good to go. You're going to draw the peanut and multiply it. Be careful on this one because it has a decimal. I don't try to do decimals in my head even if I think I can, because I usually can't and I make a mistake. So this is the answer I came up with. And then don't forget we have to immediately hit divide by 100. And that comes up to be 8.524. So we have to round to the nearest hundredth, the nearest penny. And I come up with $8.52. And that would be the tip amount. That's the part that I'm going to add on to my bill. Okay. So that's a story problem that goes with the instruction of how to solve these. I would like for you to try assignment 6, and I left you space to do that on the next page. So if you would like to try those, and then I'll see you in the next video for the explanation of those.